What the hell?
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 Hello, everybody, and welcome to What the Hell Should I Watch? The weekly rundown of what we're watching, which may become what you're watching, and we come at you every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time on stevestebbing.ca. And this week is the return of a 90s Pixar favorite, the franchise that kicked off Pixar, as well as I think a damn fine performance from Hugh Jackman, maybe one of the best in his career, as well as some streaming picks and some classic films that have now been upgraded to 4K. So let's get started right now. Fresh for eyeballs this week, and let's consider the fact that when Toy Story 1 came out, it was 1995, 1994,
Yes.
1995. So
I think it was 5.
so I was 14 years old, or just going to turn 14 years old, and the CG animated films were few and far between. I think Reboot was playing on YTV at that point. So there was computer animated films, but I will get into my cynicism of this series once it gets past the third one, but this is Toy Story 5.
Woody, Buzz, Jessie, and the rest of the gang's jobs are challenged when they're introduced to electronics, a new threat to playtime. Featuring the voices of Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, Conan O'Brien, Scarlett Spears, Greta Lee, Shelby Rabara, Michael Michelle Harris, and Craig Robinson. Written and directed by Andrew Stanton.
And Andrew Stanton is like the guy when it comes to Pixar films. I mean, he has done a handful of them. I have the whole rundown of them in my trivia. I have a lot of trivia for this movie that I thought was kind of fascinating. But going into Toy Story 4, I was hugely cynical because I feel like Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 are like a perfect trilogy.
Yeah.
I will fully go out on the limb and say that it's a perfect trilogy. It just has all the right ingredients, and no matter how many times you watch those first 3 films, they all work. So I was hugely cynical going into 4, and got proven wrong. It had a heart. It had great characters, even the new characters that they were bringing in, and still managed to squeeze a tear out of me here and there with some of that really great Pixar emotional beats, right? So after that, I still felt cynical when it came to 5. I was wondering why we were heading down another direction for another film, and wanted it to justify itself almost immediately. Like I really
Right.
felt like it was really important to me for this one to lock itself down why it exists in the first place. And the tablet age has to have a big effect on this film being made, I believe, because it does feel like a very boomer or Gen X thing to complain about kids on their tablets, but it is. I've seen it in real time. It is an actual like gremlin monster. Like
Yeah.
it unlocks children's like zombie ability, and then when you rouse them out of it, they get mad.
Yeah.
And their attitudes change and everything. And what this movie purports to say is that it stifles imagination, and I would 100% agree with that. And that's the message that I really enjoyed that this film put forth, was to nurture the imagination, and also the embracing of the weird kid, because Bonnie is kind of the weird kid now.
Yeah.
Kid still plays with toys, and all these other kids have moved on to technology, and she's still playing with toys. So she's like the outsider, and a celebration of the outsider. I'm totally all about, for sure.
Yeah.
And like in the hopes that the weird kid finds more acceptance. I mean, from personal experience, we all know that doesn't ring true all the time. No matter how many films you see about treating the weird kid better, we still get treated like shit. It's just the way it goes. But I really just enjoyed the message to it. It's also Joan Cusack's movie. This is Jessie's movie more than Woody. Woody is very secondary. It almost doesn't even come into the film until like this, just at the end of the first act, beginning of the second act. And I really enjoyed that because Joan Cusack is an actress that I feel like has been a favorite of mine for a very, very long time. So to see her
Yeah.
move from that supporting role to a main role is very cool, in my opinion. Conan O'Brien damn near steals this film, and it's not even close. He is Mr. Smarty Pants. He is the character's first tablet, which is like a potty training
Okay.
tablet. So basically, he's a toilet paper roll, and it's really, really funny. Some really good stuff. And yeah, again, being an adult by myself with the movie, I didn't feel so bad about this one because I feel like I have such history with these movies. I've seen every one of them in theaters, so
Yeah.
I feel like this is like I couldn't not see this film in theaters. That's just the way it goes. And I ended up really, really liking it. I kind of surrendered to it because it's just that delightful, and it's great to see these characters again. And I was definitely into it. That's for sure. Do you have any
Nice.
interest in seeing it?
Yeah. I didn't know that it came out. So but yes, I do want to watch it with the kids. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a really great B plot with like a container, like a washed up shipping container full of Buzz Lightyears that all wake
okay.
up and like form like an army together. It's really
Okay.
funny. It's really funny. I
Okay.
enjoyed that. So it's very 2001 to me. That's kind of how I felt about that side storyline, like the beginning of 2001. I thought it was kind of fun. Let's get nerdy here. The score for this one was done by the obvious. Randy Newman did the score for this one, just like he's done for so many, for all the Toy Story movies and so many Pixar movies. But outside of like he's a legend in his own right, especially when it comes to LA. But outside of these Pixar movies, he also scored Awakenings for Penny Marshall, um, Parenthood for Ron Howard, and The Natural, the baseball film starring Robert Redford, classic film. But this is Randy's 10th Pixar film that he has scored. He did all the Toy Story movies, like I said, both Monsters Inc. films, Cars 1 and 3, and A Bug's Life.
Nice.
Cinematography on this one was done by two people. One was Matt Asbury, who only has one other film to their credit, which is Soul,
Okay.
which I enjoyed quite a bit. It got strangled by the pandemic, sadly, and then got a re-release, but I don't know if enough people went to go see it. And also shot by Jean-Claude Kalash, who shot Toy Story 4. But also Elemental, Monsters University, and Cars.
Okay.
So some trivia. I said I had a whole bunch of trivia for this one. Jesse's pull string phrases are heard for the first time in this film. Because and I didn't realize that, but yeah, we never heard
I
what
didn't
her
realize. Yeah,
catchphrases were.
I didn't even realize that she had a pull string. But
Yeah. Well, she's part of the same line as Woody, right?
right. Yeah.
So Pixar, I mean, Disney, the parent company that owns Pixar, kept coming after part 4. They kept coming to Pixar and wanting Toy Story 5, and Pixar always refused to do it. Then they made Lightyear, and Lightyear became a box office failure. And it persuaded Pixar to produce this film to compensate for the losses incurred from Lightyear.
Okay.
Which I liked Lightyear personally.
I never saw it.
It got review bombed because it has lesbian characters in it.
I know that. That's not why I didn't see it.
No, I know, but that's partial. One of the reasons why it got dragged down was bad reviews. Bad Bunny voices a talking pizza with sunglasses in this, who I immediately thought was Pizza Steve, but it's just pizza with sunglasses.
Okay.
And the design of this character was used as the mascot of Pizza Putt, the early version of Pizza Planet, before, which is a recurring thing in the Toy Story movies. When it was going to be
all the Pixar movies.
When it was going to be a miniature golf course rather than an arcade, until it was replaced by the aliens. So it was originally going to be a pizza with sunglasses. So Pizza Steve was Pixar's idea before Pizza Steve was a thing. That's what it's coming out. That's what I'm figuring out of this. This is the 5th Pixar animated film to be directed by Andrew Stanton, who I was talking about at the top of this. After A Bug's Life, which he co-directed, Finding Nemo, WALL-E, and Finding Dory.
So all the best ones?
Well, WALL-E's my favorite of all time for Pixar. That's my number 1.
Mine's Finding Nemo. So
yeah, so that's the great. This is the Pixar mosaic of what Pixar is your favorite. Yeah,
exactly.
And it's almost like a personality litmus test almost. This is the first Toy Story film to be released without the participation of co-creator John Lasseter, who was fired from the company in 2018. Now I think he works at Skydance. And Andrew Stanton says he wants the Toy Story universe to go beyond Toy Story 5, hinting at a 6th film. Later, it was revealed that if Toy Story 5 is successful, Disney plans on making another film. And the news on that front is the movie made $300 million worldwide weekend 1. So I think we're getting a Toy Story 6. Okay. But it's Toy Story. I mean, I don't think they've lost the thread.
Yeah.
I don't think they've lost the characters.
Yeah.
And I think they really do have a lock on these stories. And as long as they still have the heart and the message, I think they can continue. And I don't see Hanks doing a phone-in movie. No. I really don't. I think all this cast has a kind of love, like Tim Allen included, for these characters, and they're not going to see them become massively commercialized in the film itself, you know?
Yeah.
All right, moving on to a film that is in a massively different tone. Although Disney has done a Robin Hood story before, this one is far different, but it kicks so much ass. This is The Death of Robin Hood.
Grappling with his past after a life of crime and murder, Robin Hood finds himself gravely injured after a battle he thought would be his last. In the hands of a mysterious woman, he is offered a chance at salvation. Starring Hugh Jackman, Jodie Comer, Bill Skarsgård, Murray Bartlett, and Noah Jupe. Written and directed by Michael Sarnoski.
And Michael Sarnoski is the guy that did Quiet Place Day 1, and he also did Pig with Nicolas Cage. This guy has such an incredible vision. And Death of Robin Hood is gritty, it's grimy, it's visceral. The first half of this film, which, you know, aims to to pretty much wipe out Hugh Jackman's Robin Hood character, is violent and tooth and nail fights in this, like on the ground in the mud, like scratching at their eyes, like just tearing at flesh type of thing. Like the violence in this movie is so up close and personal. Like it is some ugly stuff, a bit of the ultra violence, if you will. And that really encompasses the whole, first half of this film. And then the film very much slows down for the back half. And I think a lot of audiences will consider that kind of boring, but the last half is like the redemptive side, the side where Hugh Jackman's character can come to terms with the violence that he's created over his existence. Where the stories of Robin Hood are fairy tale, and where the truth lies. Confession and redemption. That's like really the second half of the film. And I think it's some of Hugh Jackman's best work. I think he's really, really good in this movie. I love the costuming and the hair and makeup. If that, like, it sounds weird to say that, but his look in this film, I think, is phenomenal. Jodie Comer is amazing. She is so good, but that's kind of true of every time she shows up in a film. She's just really goddamn good. And even that show she did with Sandra Oh, Killing Eve, she was excellent in that one, and kind of the notable star of that show. But like I said, the cinematography is incredible in this film, and just had me like pinned to my seat. I was just engrossed in the look of this film. And Michael Sarnowski has just such a weighted hand with showing something incredibly violent, but also showing, on the other hand, showing something incredibly beautiful, and shooting it with such stillness. I was really, really astounded by this film. And there is a fight scene in this movie, silhouetted by fire, that kind of reminded me of The Northman, the end battle in The Northman, where they're like in front of that volcano. It had little memories of that, but a little more intimate and close and dire, like super dire. Really, really great stuff. I was astounded by it. Funny enough, it only had 2 screenings a day, and it was 12:30 and 3:45. And I was like, okay, so the only way I'm going to see this is on the weekend when I'm not working, and I can't see in the evening. And that's because Toy Story 5 has 3 of the theaters at my local theater.
Right.
Which I guess makes sense to a certain extent. But this movie is phenomenal. I'd say if you like a movie like The Northman, or if you like a film like Green Knight or something, Death of Robin Hood is very, very, very entertaining. Really, really dug it. Little trivia here just before I head into one nerdy bit I have, but this is Michael Sarnowski's first movie shot entirely on 35 millimeter, and it looks gorgeous. But the nerdy bit actually has to do with the cinematography, because it was shot by Pat Scola, who I've talked about on the show before, because he shot Lurker, a very different film, very much more modern and much more frenetic and freehand, and then Death of Robin Hood was. It was definitely a different ball game when it came to this film. All right, moving on to another little crazy little genre play that I was looking forward to this film a lot, and I even teased this on the podcast, hoping that I was going to get to it. I finally did, just not on the big screen. I really wish I had. This film is called Is God Is.
2 sisters embark on an epic quest for revenge, confronting a charged family history that will push them to extraordinary lengths. Starring Kara Young, Mallory Johnson, Janelle Monáe, Erica Alexander, Michael T. Williamson, Josiah Cross, Vivica A. Fox, and Sterling K. Brown. Written and directed by Alicia Harris.
So this movie feels super blaxploitation. This is kind of like a little bit of a one. kind of that one person warrior, but in this film it's two, twin girls. And this is like it says in the write-up, this is a story of revenge, but it's a little deeper than that synopsis gives, because Sterling K. Brown, what is their father, and an abusive father who one day covered their mother, Vivica A. Fox's character, in alcohol and lit them in the house on fire. The girls tried to save their mom and were horribly burned in the process as well. One of them's burned all over the face, but the other one is more up the arm and on the chest and the hand, but the face is generally clear. And in going to visit their mom on her deathbed, she gives them this message that you have to now go and kill your dad. So it's honestly like a journey through this father who they never really knew except when they were little girls, and did this horrific act, and all the atrocities that he has committed on all these people later. And either these people are in fear of him and want to see him destroyed, or they're in this blind loving devotion. Like, he has a whole new family with Janelle Monáe's character. They have twin boys. And it's like he's started over again as this pious individual. And this movie is darkly funny, incredibly well shot, and with these really greatly depicted bursts of violence, some in a cutaway that still works really, really well. And I really appreciated that about this film. This filmmaker, this is her debut film, and I honestly really think that she understood the assignment right away, and delivers a really unforgettable film. One that I kind of stewed on it for a couple days after it, because it's just a very, very well constructed film with two really great and electric performances at the lead with these two girls. Really good stuff, and definitely highly recommended. Just a few nerdy bits on this one. The score for this one was done by Joseph Shirley, who did the score for Creed 3, as well as some Jeff Tremaine stuff, because he did Jackass Forever, and did the score for Eric Andre's film Bad Trip, which was also partially produced by the Jackass guys. And in television, did some score for the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, doing some Star Wars work here. Okay. So, and do a point to it. To the Kylo.
Gotta point it out.
Gotta point to the Kylo. But it was also shot by Alexander Dynan, who is Paul Schrader's dude. From like First Reformed on. Some of the better work that Paul Schrader has been done with Alexander Dynan. So yeah, this, like I said, this movie is really beautifully shot. So a lot attributed to him. But if you're looking for a good thriller that has a serious style to it, I would highly, highly recommend Is God Is, because it's a hell of a ride. All right. Right before we're going to get out of this segment, I just want to touch on a documentary that follows a musical that I love. And I know those are big words, but this is actually one I really, really love. This film's called Strange Journey, the story of Rocky Horror.
A London theater play evolves into a groundbreaking cult phenomenon, featuring iconic songs and performances that celebrate individuality. The legacy lives on through midnight screenings in a devoted following that spans generations. Starring Tim Curry, Susan Sarandon, Richard O'Brien, Jack Black, and Trixie Mattel. Directed by Linus O'Brien.
So, yeah, I have to say Rocky Horror might be the musical that has stood the test of time since release, because the pop culture family around this and the annual meetups to and screenings and everything, just the longevity of it and for it not to have been remade or touched again or anything like that. Like there have been stage productions, but like a screen format, like they really haven't touched it. So although it's been homaged many times, this is the rare musical that I absolutely adore. Definitely because of the darker elements in it, clearly. But and Tim Curry is just phenomenal. I mean,
Right.
this is one of the things that made me love Tim Curry so much. And this documentary is made by Linus O'Brien, who is Richard O'Brien, the creator of Rocky Horror. It's his son. So there is an intimacy in his filmmaking in making this documentary that I really appreciated, especially when he's doing interviews with like Barry Bostwick or Susan Sarandon or anything. And they keep saying things of like when they're talking about the development of the movie or filming the movie, and they keep saying like, your dad, right? Because then there's such a personalization that
Yeah.
it feels like this movie was made by the heart of Rocky Horror as well. So,
Yeah.
however non-polished this film feels, and it feels a little underprofessional in certain parts, it makes up for it in heart and substance, because there is that immediate attachment, especially for Linus O'Brien directing this film, that Rocky Horror has been part of his life since he was born. So, to celebrate it in a film has a little bit more clout behind it. And that's I think where this film comes through big time. And to see, we bring in Jack Black and Trixie Mattel as kind of outsiders who these films like inspired them to be on the path that they are. I mean, Trixie Mattel is a drag queen, probably one of the most famous drag queens in the world. And Jack Black is an out there performer in both music and movies and theatrics. So it's cool, like, for them to celebrate their inspiration coming through Rocky Horror. So I thought that was very, very cool. Yeah, I really, really dug this film quite a bit, because I'm also a huge nerd for documentaries on film.
Rocky Horror has such an odd role in my life because one of my earliest memories is my mom getting ready to go to a screening and then me asking her where she's going, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to go see a movie called the Rocky Horror Picture." And I was like, "Oh, I like horror movies. I want to come." And I was like 4 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I just watched Jeepers Creepers. And she was like, "Oh no, you can't. It's only for grown-ups." And then like that memory has just been stuck in my brain for the past 21 years, and I still haven't seen the film.
Oh yeah, you have to see it now. I think you have to see it. You have to take it upon yourself. I think it's on Disney Plus because it is owned by 20th Century Fox. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely worth. And then come back and report with your feelings on it, because it's wild. It's wild.
Okay.
All right, so gonna celebrate some classic stuff, upgraded to the 4K, kicking off this one on the Blue. On the Blue, and this was a rewatch because the lead star tragically passed away, succumbing to cancer. And the wife and I were like, let's watch something classic. And I realized that I had just been sent this recently on a reissued 4K. So we got to look at it. I hadn't seen it since it came out. This one's Varsity Blues.
A backup quarterback is chosen to lead a Texas football team to victory after the star quarterback is injured. Starring James Vanderbeek, John Voight, Paul Walker, Ron Lester, and Scott Kahn. Directed by Brian Robbins.
So yeah, I hadn't seen this one since it came out. I probably watched it on VHS. And it probably would have been when you had just been born and we were living in Coquitlam, and I was renting videos from this place like a block away, just down the street. I was walking over, grabbing a few movies and walking back. And I mean, sports movies, I mean, they're almost like a dime a dozen, especially, you know, underdog gets thrust into the main role. Like, it feels like those movies happen a lot, but Varsity Blues is really a template all on its own. I really think that, coupled with the based on a true story Friday Night Lights film with Billy Bob Thornton, really sparked that actual Friday Night Lights TV show that was like a huge television phenomenon for years. I think with just Friday Night Lights, that Billy Bob Thornton movie, and no Varsity Blues, I don't think that show is successful. I think this is a big part of that era. That said, it did not age very well at all. It is not well acted. The directing is kind of lame on it. Cinematography sucks. Some of the editing really bugged me. Like, it does feel like that Cusper 99-2000 film. And yeah, just a little goofy and a little aw shucks country homeboy. So it definitely depreciated in value, but I think it was some of the trivia and some of the nerdy bits of this film kind of intrigued me more about it, especially as I was watching it and remembering certain stuff and then researching it after. So I want to go through a few of the things that came across. Besides in that cast list, because these are all like, we've got to remember what the era this came out. Amy Smart's also in this film. Ali Larder and Jesse Plemons, very early role from Jesse Plemons in this one, who would go on to be in Friday Night Lights, the TV series. Brian Robbins, the director of this one, he's more often than not a producer, works a lot with Eddie Murphy all the time, produces most of his films. But he directed Hardball, he directed Ready to Rumble, and he directed Good Burger. So he has some good stuff on his list, and he directed a lot of the Keenan and Kel episodes. So that's kind of the Good Burger connection there. But he also directed The Shaggy Dog with Tim Allen. You remember that movie at all? 2006.
So vaguely.
And a movie with Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans called The Perfect Score, which I didn't really like, where they're stealing the SAT scores. Wasn't a big fan of that film. This film was written by W. Peter Iliff, who wrote Patriot Games with Harrison Ford and Point Break with Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves. I don't really need to explain that movie beyond it because Point Break's one of the greatest action movies of all time. This screenplay, when it entered production, was actually 16 years old at that point. It was something he had written earlier in his career and just kind of sat on the shelf. So then it finally got made. The score in this one is done by Mark Isham. He usually works with directors Gavin O'Connor, Wayne Kramer. Two directors I think are pretty solid and usually make kind of gritty crime stories. But he also did the score for Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage, Judas and the Black Messiah with Daniel Kaluuya, which is a fantastic film, and Bill and Ted Face the Music, the long-awaited Bill and Ted sequel that I fucking adored. I thought that movie was great. In the TV world, does the scores for Godfather of Harlem with Forest Whitaker, Once Upon a Time, which was locally shot in Langley and Surrey areas, I believe. A bunch, I think. And The Black Donnellys, a show that never got its chance to be awesome on television. Got one season, and NBC was like, nope, that's enough for you. Also, Mark Isham does the score for The Mist, the movie.
Nice.
So that was one for you. On the bad side, I did a Jason Statham movie called Homefront, where James Franco's the bad guy, and he's like a methed out dealer. It's bad. He's like a redneck meth head. It's so bad. But Nicolas Cage, I got to bring up the Nicolas Cage stuff. I know I've already brought up An Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, but that's not the only thing he scored Nicolas Cage wise, because he did the score for Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, which is an insane and gonzo performance by Nick Cage, and Next, which is a sci-fi film that's not great. It's not great. This film helped introduce Jon Voight to a younger audience. in which it should apologize for doing that because fuck John Voight. Daniel Stern was originally going to direct this movie, but was fired because he wanted to make substantial changes to the screenplay, including a page 1 rewrite of the script. I only wonder what he was proposing to put in the script that got him fired. That's kind of funny.
That they were like, no,
leave. Just get out. Just
done.
leave.
You're done, man.
You're done, dude. Just leave. This is bad. Joshua Jackson was considered for the role of Mox, the lead character, which is coincidental because he co-starred with James Van Der Beek in Dawson's Creek. And 3 principal cast members have died since the movie's release. Paul Walker on November 30th, 2013, Ron Lester on June 17th, 2016, and James Van Der Beek on February 11th, 2026. Additionally, Joe Pitchler. Recent. Yeah, exactly. Joe Pitchler has been missing since January 5th, 2006. And as of April 2026, 20 years after his disappearance, it is believed that Pitchler had been dead around the time he was missing.
What?
Yeah, so there's 4 dead people in this movie.
One presumed dead.
One presumed dead, yeah.
Okay.
He went missing in 2006 and hasn't been seen again.
What do you mean went missing?
Went missing.
Were there
been missing since January 5th.
Odd circumstances, or is he just gone?
I don't know. We have to get into the mystery of Joe Pitchler, I guess.
Yeah, we do.
We're going to dig into we got to be PIs. We got to put on our PI hats.
We're going to find him.
We're going to find Joe Pitchler. It'll be the Varsity Blues mystery. Ron Lester and Eric Jungman starred in both this and the film Not Another Teen Movie, the spoof movie about this. Although the character Billy Bob was supposed to be 18 years old, an 18-year-old high school senior in this film, Ron Lester was 28 at the time the movie was filmed. And there was a plan for a TV series based on the movie. The series was going to feature Ron Lester reprising his role as Billy Bob, but for unknown reasons, the plans never got past the pilot. He was going to play a teenager into his third, like when you sign up for a TV show.
That's the reason. Like the reason was that's a 30-year-old man.
Yeah. Okay. So he's 30, and then they sign up to do a TV show, which presumably they would like a TV show to run probably for 5 seasons. So he'd be like 35 playing a teenager.
It'll work. I swear.
He's graduating. That'd be his graduating year. Where he's got like a full beard. That's great.
He's a full-grown man with a mortgage.
It's kind of looking like mine, and he's just like, I'm ready to get out of high school. Paul Walker broke his leg during this movie. This was actually Ali Larter's movie debut, was this film. And Ali Larter and Amy Smart are actually best friends in real life and have been for 20 years now. Also, fun thing about Ali Larter, there's a scene where she has a whipped cream bikini on so that she welcomes Paul Walker. And it wasn't whipped cream. It was actually shaving cream because whipped cream wouldn't stick right.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously. There's also the Top Notch restaurant is a landmark in this film. And it's actually a real restaurant. It's located in Austin, Texas. And it was also in the movie Dazed and Confused. And my last little tidbit in Mean Girls, this is Regina George's favorite movie. Here we go.
That's fitting.
But the main moral to this one, without droning on any more about it, is this one does not age well. It's goofy, and I don't want your life. Anyway, let's move on to something I've had for a little bit and cheating a bit. This isn't on the Blue. This is on the DVD. But we're talking TV for a quick second. This one's The White Lotus.
The exploits of various guests and employees of a luxury resort over the span of a week. Starring Murray Bartlett, Connie Britton, Jennifer Coolidge, Alexandra Daddario, Fred Heschinger, Jake Lacey, Brittany O'Grady, Natasha Rothwell, Sydney Sweeney, Steve Zahn, and Molly Shannon. created by Mike White, also available on Crave.
So yeah, I got sent the DVD for this one a while back, and I've said it many times that TV sometimes is like a blind spot, and I know that the White Lotus is like a huge like phenomenon when it comes to TV, especially HBO. It's like one of those Game of Thrones things, one of those water cooler things. Oh my God, you're not watching White Lotus. It's kind of like Euphoria, like all those kind of shows, right? But White Lotus consistently has high reviews, and it's not. I brought Euphoria, and I don't want to compare it to any kind of trash TV because this one's a little bit above that. But yeah, I'm finally watching the show, and I adore season 1 a lot so far. And this is Sydney Sweeney before Euphoria as well. She's in this one as part of the cast. And I dig the humor. Mike White's a great writer. I mean, I've been following his career all the way back into the 2000s. I mean, I own Year of the Dog on DVD, which is one of his early films with Molly Shannon, coincidentally, and really, really love his work. The Newlywed stuff with Jake Lacy and Alexandra Daddario, I think, is really, really funny. Steve Zahn and Connie Britton are fantastic. And I guess this is where Fred Hetchinger came from, because he kind of really burst out movie-wise in the last couple of years. But yeah, digging it so far. I know you got so many viewers right now are like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? You're just starting it now. But yeah, I am. And I'm liking it. So give me time. I will get through it all. All right, let's move on to what you can stream now. Yes, these ones are also older. Some of them are even seasons deep, but I've had a little bit of time here and there to pick up the odd new show here and there. And this one, a little bit of a side project for the guys from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, really caught my eye because it's comedians that I really like doing a show about online gaming, and there's something fun to that. This is Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet.
The head of a successful video game development company and his troubled staff struggle to keep their hit game on top. Starring Rob Mack, Ashley Birch, Jesse Ennis, Imani Hakim, David Hornsby, Charlotte Nickdow, Danny Pudi, F. Murray Abraham, and Naomi Ekperigin. Created by Charlie Day, Megan Gans, and Rob Mack. Available on Apple TV+.
So yeah, I mean, I have not watched every episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I mean, there's 17 seasons of it. There's a lot, but I've seen a lot of great stuff. Every time I see a clip, I laugh my ass off. There's something about these, and I love Charlie Day. I love Rob Mack. I love Gren Howerton. And I love Caitlin Olsen too. I think they're all so fantastic and so funny. And this show, it takes it in a different direction. Rob Mack, who plays Mac on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, is the douchey CEO of like a Blizzard company.
Okay.
Making this online video game and like getting trolled by some of their users, like like some of the big Twitch stars and stuff that are trolling them and calling their game crap and stuff like that. So it's always clashings of ego. They're rushing the development of games. Yeah, there's a lot of really, really fun stuff in this ensemble. I love Danny Pudi. I mean, ever since I saw him in Community as Abed, I've been a fan of his work. And I really enjoy his character in this one. And again, this one's 4 seasons deep. I don't know if it's still currently running new episodes or if they're making it or if they've since wrapped it up, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. And this one was just kind of picked up on a whim. I was scrolling through Apple TV Plus and realized I hadn't watched this one yet. So I just threw it on and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. So I'll bring it back to the once it's over, but so far so good. Next up is definitely a change of tone and a change of country as well, as we're going to the BritBox streaming service for this British-made crime drama. And it used to be something that I was all about. You couldn't get a British show past me, but this one's called Suspect.
Veteran detective Danny Frater is called to a hospital mortuary to identify a corpse, only to find it is his estranged daughter. Traumatized by the news she took her own life, Frater sets out to discover the truth about her death. Starring James Nesbitt, Sacha Dhawan, Anne-Marie Duff, Sam Hagwin, Neve Alger, Richard E. Grant, Ben Miller, Antonia Thomas, and Jolie Richardson. Created by Joy Wilkinson and David Allison. Available on BritBox.
So yeah, reckless renegade cop, just like a bristly prick, beautifully played by James Nesbitt, who is like a phenomenal British actor that always nails these great cop roles. And comes across an estranged daughter who is said to have committed suicide off the bridge. And he was like, "No, that can't be. There's got to be something creepier to it." And so basically against his own precinct and against his own friends, even, he goes on this reckless investigation. And I think this each season is follows a different storyline, maybe a different character, but season one, I'm digging it a lot. And it was really James Nesbitt as a character actor that really made me interested in it. It's like him and David Morrissey is another guy I'll watch a show for. They just have some great substance to them. And there's something really gritty about this. It's kind of like an underworld London story. And I dig that a lot too, especially coming from the more comedic side with Guy Ritchie in the late 90s, early 2000s. So Suspect's an interesting show. I don't think it'll be everybody's cup of tea, and it is a little bit off the beaten path because you do have to get it on BritBox because it was made by ITV, I believe. But it is a very entertaining show. And the great thing about British shows is they're all really super short. They're either 4 or 6 episodes. They don't usually stretch out beyond that one. So I'm digging that one. All right, I got to get some of my sports documentaries out there because I do have a tendency to binge the odd one here and there. And it doesn't even have to be a sport that I'm religiously into, which is the case in point with this one right now, because I'm not a basketball guy, but some of the personalities are just too big to ignore. This one's called Starting Five.
5 NBA superstars' journeys during the 2023-24 season, their on-court battles, injury struggles, and efforts to balance family life and cementing their legacies. Starring Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Domantas Sabonis, and Jason Tatum. Available on Netflix.
So yeah, I mean, players' egos, talent, drive. Like there's something universal when it's presented in a documentary form that I find interesting. The perseverance, what drives them, and just kind of seeing the day to day and the behind the scenes. I find kind of interesting and very humanizing. And just like, movie documentaries or music documentaries or any kind of behind the scenes stuff, I kind of gravitate towards that shit because it feels like way more humanly grounded. And I'd rather watch any of this stuff over like your competition reality shows or anything like that. This I find far more interesting. And some of the characters in this, like I've kind of always enjoyed LeBron James. So I mean, to see him live his life and how big his life is very interesting. And then like on the other side of the spectrum, like an agitator like Anthony Edwards is kind of more of a brash and egotistical and trash talking player. Is interesting to see that side as well and live his life like the big king, which is really funny. comparably to LeBron James. But yeah, it's an interesting series, and looking to continue more. I probably won't bring this one back once I wrap it up because it's kind of all kind of obvious. But I think it's an interesting series, so I just wanted to bring it up. All right, we're almost ready to get out of here, but I added a couple of new cool things to the library. Yes, being an action kid, I have and will always have an affinity for Arnold Schwarzenegger films, especially stuff spanning through the 80s through to the 90s, through even to the late 90s. And that's exactly where this new 4K that came through from Warner Brothers lands, because this is his film Eraser, which he did with Chuck Russell and co-starring Vanessa Williams. And did you ever play GoldenEye? Like the
I
Nintendo game?
haven't,
But you've seen it
but
played, right?
Julius has. He talks about it a lot. Yes, I've
There's
seen gameplay. Yeah.
a rail gun that like shoots through walls and everything.
Yeah.
It's like an X-ray gun. There's a gun like that in Eraser.
Okay.
And I always think about that one. And this movie also features a really great Arnold one-liner where there's a part of the film where there's a big action sequence in like this restaurant, and there's like fish tanks and all that stuff all around, and one of them has alligators in it, and an alligator comes out to bite Arnold, and Arnold turns and shoots it and goes, "Your luggage." So there you go.
Okay.
But I have that in 4K now because it's Eraser, and I'm looking forward to watching it again. It definitely wasn't one of Arnie's hits, but either way, I'm interested to see it. Also new in my library and newly out on Blu-ray. I don't think it ever screened in my area, but I'm excited to watch it because I love everything Saturday Night Live. The documentary Lorne, the film about Lorne Michaels, the mastermind behind the greatest sketch comedy show of all time, one that's been going for over 50 years now. I really excited to see this film. It's Morgan Neville that directed this film, who's a really, really great documentarian. So yeah, I am excited to check out Lorne and especially see what kind of cast members came to do the interviews about him. So yeah, especially because I've been listening to a lot of David Spade and Dana Carvey's podcast Fly on the Wall, and they constantly do Lorne Michaels impressions all the time. It makes me laugh. All right, so that brings us to a close this week, but what are we going to talk about next week? Well, actually, we're not going to talk about anything next week. We are not back until July 17th. So mark that one on your calendars because me and the wife are going on a vacation. We haven't gone on a vacation, just the two of us, since we got married. So this is second honeymoon time and a little bit of a summer break from the show, but we will be back with a plethora of stuff because I'm just going to be building all of that up on a big old list for you. But that brings us to a close here. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, and Blue Sky at the Stevel Dead.
You can find me on Letterboxd at HoneyBunChloe.
You can also find all of the episodes for this show on stevestebbing.ca or go to the YouTube page and please like and subscribe. You can also find us on shiftheads.ca. You can hear me a few different places. First, on After the Credits with Marina, Bill, and Melissa. You can find those episodes at atcpod.ca. You can also hear me on Tremble, the Horror Podcast with Kurt and Taylor. You can find those episodes at 3angrynerds.com. And you can also hear me now on Kelowna's AM 1150 every Friday just after the 8:30 news break. And you can also hear me on Shane Hewitt and the Night Shift, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Toronto's News Talk 1010, found on the iHeartRadio network. You can also get all of those episodes wherever you get your favorite podcast. And that does it for us. We've emptied out our list for this week. So until next week, bye-bye.